Spicy Lady Sigmas, welcome back to your power zone. Today, we're diving into strategies so sharp they'll leave manipulators spinning. Spicy Lady Sigmas don't just survive manipulation, we dismantle it at the root. Forget the same old advice. This is your ultimate Spicy Lady Sigma playbook with tactics that are fresh, bold, and deeply strategic. By the end of this video, you'll have 10 game-changing tools to keep manipulators powerless. But first, if you're ready to supercharge your Spicy Lady Sigma mindset, hit that subscribe button and join the tribe. Let's make sure your energy stays sacred and untouchable. Let's dive in. 1. The Shadow Echo Method. Spicy Lady Sigmas are masters of subtle observation, and the Shadow Echo Method is their ultimate power move. This IC involves mirroring the manipulator's actions, words, or tone in ways so subtle it's barely noticeable, but impactful enough to make the manipulator uneasy. When manipulators try to guilt trip or control Spicy Lady Sigmas, we carefully mimic their phrases back to them, forcing them to face the absurdity or aggressiveness of their behavior. This isn't about imitation for the sake of confrontation. It's about creating a psychological mirror. Manipulators thrive on asymmetrical dynamics where they hold the upper hand. But when they see their own behaviors reflected, they're caught off guard, triggering self-awareness or at least self-consciousness without a single argument or emotional outburst. This method doesn't just shut down manipulation. It turns the manipulator's own tactics into a source of discomfort. Spicy Lady Sigmas use the Shadow Echo Method in personal and professional settings. For example, if a coworker makes passive-aggressive remarks, a Spicy Lady Sigma might reply with the same tone and phrasing. "Oh, so I guess deadlines don't matter to some people." This forces the aggressor to either own their behavior or backtrack awkwardly. The key is maintaining composure and ensuring the mimicry is subtle enough to feel natural, but effective enough to shift the power dynamic. Building the third layer defense. Most people operate on 2 layers of interaction: the surface small talk politeness, and the second layer genuine emotional connection. However, Spicy Lady Sigmas construct a secret third layer, a space of detachment and strategic observation. This inner sanctum is where we analyze, predict, and disarm manipulation without letting anyone see the gears turning. Here's how it works. On the surface, Spicy Lady Sigmas appear friendly but not overly involved. At the second layer, we engage authentically but remain guarded, avoiding oversharing or revealing vulnerabilities. The third layer, however, is where the magic happens. In this space, Spicy Lady Sigmas stay emotionally detached while we assess the manipulator's intentions, weaknesses, and patterns. This defense mechanism is nearly impenetrable. Because manipulators can't access the third layer, they only see what Spicy Lady Sigmas allow them to see. It's like playing poker with a perfect poker face while reading everyone else's hand. For instance, if a manipulator tries to gaslight a Spicy Lady Sigma by twisting facts, she might calmly agree on the surface, acknowledge their feelings at the second layer, but internally catalog the incident as evidence for a strategic countermove later. The third layer also acts as a protective shield by keeping their deepest thoughts and plans private. Spicy Lady Sigmas ensure that manipulators have no ammunition to use against them. This layered approach isn't just about defense. It's about maintaining control while making the manipulator think they're in charge. 3. Turning weaknesses into questionable strengths. Spicy Lady Sigmas are brilliant at playing the long game, and one of our sharpest tools is turning perceived weaknesses into strategic strengths. Unlike traditional methods of defending against manipulators, Spicy Lady Sigmas take a counterintuitive approach. We let manipulators think they've found a vulnerability, only to flip it into a trap. For example, a Spicy Lady Sigma might deliberately play into stereotypes, such as acting less informed or passive than she truly is. Manipulators driven by overconfidence tend to exploit this weakness, believing they have the upper hand. But as they press their advantage, the Spicy Lady Sigma quietly gathers information, waits for the right moment, and then dismantles their strategy in one decisive move. This tactic works because manipulators rely on predictable power dynamics. They assume that weaknesses make their target easier to control. By weaponizing these assumptions, Spicy Lady Sigmas not only protect themselves, but also shift the narrative entirely. A manipulator who thinks they're winning will often reveal their own plans too early or act recklessly, giving the spicy Lady Sigma the upper hand. The brilliance of this approach lies in its subtlety. Spicy Lady Sigmas don't need to argue, defend themselves, or prove their strength outright. We let the manipulator fall into their own trap, exposing their vulnerabilities while the spicy Lady Sigma remains untouchable. This method requires patience and precision, but when executed well, it's devastatingly effective. The reverse reality check. Spicy Lady Sigmas are adept at flipping the script, and the reverse reality check tactic is a prime example of this skill in action. Manipulators often thrive by distorting reality, twisting facts, creating confusion, or making others doubt their perceptions. Instead of getting drawn into their web, spicy Lady Sigmas turn the tables by challenging these distortions with strategic probing questions. For instance, if a manipulator uses guilt as a weapon, saying something like, "If you really cared, you'd do this for me," a spicy Lady Sigma might reply with, "Why do you feel the need to phrase it that way? Or is this about care, or is it about control?" These questions are disarming because they force the manipulator to confront their own tactics head-on, often exposing their intentions to themselves and others. What makes this strategy so effective is its lack of hostility. Spicy Lady Sigmas don't argue or accuse. We simply ask questions that reframe the situation and shine a spotlight on the manipulator's behavior. This tactic also puts the manipulator in a defensive position, requiring them to justify their actions instead of continuing their manipulation unchallenged. Moreover, the reverse reality check isn't limited to verbal interactions. Spicy Lady Sigmas often use their actions to send the same message by calmly walking away from a guilt trip scenario or disengaging from a heated argument. We demonstrate that we won't be emotionally tethered to someone else's narrative. This combination of verbal and nonverbal tactics makes the reverse reality check a powerful tool in dismantling manipulation. Creating calculated chaos. While manipulators rely on control and predictability to execute their tactics, spicy Lady Sigmas excel at throwing them off balance with calculated chaos. This isn't about acting recklessly. It's about introducing unexpected variables that disrupt the manipulator's plans and expose their vulnerabilities. For example, if a manipulator attempts to control a conversation by dominating the narrative, a spicy Lady Sigma might interject with a completely unrelated but compelling topic. This sudden shift not only derails the manipulator's momentum, but also forces them to adapt to an unfamiliar situation, something they're often ill-equipped to handle. The result? The manipulator loses their grip, and the spicy Lady Sigma regains control of the interaction. Calculated chaos also works in larger contexts. In professional settings, a spicy Lady Sigma might deliberately delay responding to an email or introduce an alternative solution that challenges a manipulator's agenda. These small but intentional disruptions create a ripple effect, making it harder for manipulators to maintain their facade or execute their plans. The key to this tactic is maintaining composure while the manipulator is thrown into disarray. The spicy Lady Sigma remains calm and intentional, ensuring that the chaos serves her purpose. This approach not only neutralizes manipulation, but also positions the spicy Lady Sigma as a force to be reckoned with, someone who can't be easily cornered or controlled. 6. The dead-end loop strategy. Spicy Lady Sigmas are masters of efficiency, and the dead-end loop strategy is one of their simplest yet most effective tools for neutralizing manipulators. This tactic involves responding to manipulative statements with neutral, repetitive answers that provide no fuel for further manipulation. Imagine a manipulator trying to provoke an emotional response by saying, "You're so ungrateful for everything I've done for you." A spicy Lady Sigma might calmly reply, "I'll think about that." And if the manipulator persists, she repeats the same response, "I'll think about that." This creates a loop where the manipulator's attempts to escalate the situation hit a wall, forcing them to either drop the subject or expose their true intentions. The brilliance of this strategy lies in its simplicity. Spicy Lady Sigmas don't engage in arguments, defend themselves, or try to win the interaction. Instead, they shut it down entirely by depriving the manipulator of the attention and emotional reactions they crave. Over time, manipulators learn that they can't achieve their goals with a spicy Lady Sigma and they either back off or self-destruct in frustration. This tactic also preserves the spicy Lady Sigma's energy by avoiding drawn-out confrontations. She remains centered and focused on her priorities, refusing to let a manipulator's games distract her from her goals. The dead-end loop isn't just a defense mechanism. It's a declaration of independence that leaves manipulators powerless. Leveraging moral ambiguity. Manipulators often thrive by exploiting clear moral stances, turning empathy, kindness, or a sense of duty against their targets. However, spicy Lady Sigmas excel at staying morally ambiguous, which makes it nearly impossible for manipulators to pin them down or use their values as leverage. This tactic doesn't mean abandoning principles. It means refusing to wear them on your sleeve in a way that manipulators can weaponize. For instance, instead of engaging in a guilt trip scenario like, if you were a good friend, you'd do this for me, a spicy Lady Sigma might respond with a non-committal statement like, I'll have to think about what's best for everyone involved. This response sidesteps the manipulator's attempt to frame the situation in black and white terms, effectively removing their control over the narrative by keeping their values private and their decisions flexible. Spicy Lady Sigmas maintain the upper hand. Manipulators who rely on predictability struggle to adapt to this moral gray area. They can't guilt trip or shame someone who doesn't play by their rigid rules. This approach also allows spicy Lady Sigmas to prioritize their own well-being without feeling cornered. Instead of being forced into actions that don't serve them, they create space to act in ways that align with their goals and values on their own terms. The result? Manipulators are left confused and powerless, unable to manipulate someone who refuses to be boxed in. 8. The energy redirect. Spicy Lady Sigmas understand that attention is currency in any interaction, and manipulators are greedy for it. The energy redirect tactic involves pulling focus away from the manipulator's attempts to control the narrative and shifting it to something harmless or irrelevant. This not only disrupts the manipulator's momentum, but also protects the spicy Lady Sigma's emotional energy. For example, if a manipulator tries to stir up conflict by bringing up a sensitive topic, a spicy Lady Sigma might respond with an unexpected comment like, that reminds me I saw the funniest video yesterday, or speaking of which, have you tried that new coffee shop downtown? This sudden pivot disarms the manipulator, leaving them unsure how to proceed. The genius of this strategy is that it avoids confrontation while completely derailing the manipulator's agenda. It also demonstrates the spicy Lady Sigma's control over the interaction, as she dictates where the conversation goes and refuses to be drawn into drama or conflict. This tactic works particularly well in group settings by redirecting the energy of the conversation. Spicy Lady Sigmas can subtly protect others from the manipulator's tactics without calling attention to the situation. It's a quiet yet powerful way to lead and protect, showcasing the spicy Lady Sigma's natural influence. 9. Constructing the false exit. Spicy Lady Sigmas know that one of the most effective ways to disarm a manipulator is to create the illusion of retreat. The false exit tactic involves temporarily stepping away from a situation or interaction, giving the manipulator a false sense of victory. This lulls them into overconfidence, making them more likely to reveal their true intentions or overextend themselves. For instance, in a professional setting, if a manipulator tries to undermine a spicy Lady Sigma's ideas in a meeting, she might appear to let the topic drop, only to return later with stronger evidence or support, catching the manipulator off guard. This delayed response not only dismantles the manipulator's strategy, but also showcases the spicy Lady Sigma's resilience and foresight. In personal relationships, the false exit might look like temporarily disengaging from an argument or stepping back from a toxic dynamic. The manipulator, believing they've won, often exposes their true nature in the absence of resistance. When the spicy Lady Sigma re-engages, she does so on her own terms, armed with clarity and strategy. This tactic is particularly effective because it combines patience with precision. Manipulators thrive on immediate reactions, but spicy Lady Sigmas refuse to play by their timeline. The false exit flips the power dynamic, leaving the manipulator scrambling to regain control. 10. Mastering the quiet reveal. Spicy Lady Sigmas don't need loud confrontations to expose manipulators. We excel at the quiet reveal. This tactic involves subtly introducing evidence or truths that dismantle the manipulator's narrative without direct accusations. It's a stealthy but devastatingly effective way to shift the power dynamic. For example, if a manipulator spreads false information, a spicy Lady Sigma might casually reference the truth in a group conversation, saying something like, "I heard a different version of that story. Wasn't it actually XYZ?" This approach forces the manipulator to backtrack without giving them the chance to escalate the situation. The quiet reveal works because it doesn't rely on emotional energy or heated arguments. It's a calm, matter-of-fact tactic that exposes the manipulator's lies or inconsistencies in a way that feels organic. This often leaves the manipulator floundering, unsure how to respond without further incriminating themselves. This tactic also showcases the Spicy Lady Sigma's intelligence and observation skills by revealing just enough to dismantle the manipulator's strategy while keeping the rest of her knowledge private. She maintains control of the situation, and the manipulator is left guessing what else she knows, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty that works to her advantage. And there you have it, Spicy Lady Sigma's 10 next-level tactics to keep manipulators powerless and your energy protected. These aren't just strategies. They're a way of life for those of us who refuse to be controlled or diminished. If you love these insights, let me know in the comments which tactic resonated most with you. And remember, the best way to support our Spicy Lady Sigma tribe is by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell. Together, we're building a community of unstoppable, unshakable women. Until next time, stay strategic, stay sharp, and most importantly, stay spicy, Lady Sigma. Peace out.